Yes, thank you all. Greetings of the day because it is late in the evening here and afternoon for you, almost evening for you at 4:30, I believe, isn't it? Okay, so I'm from India. I'm a tech professional, and as Anshul already mentioned, I work with various projects as a freelancer. Recently completed with I'm still continuing as a contract learning designer with York University, Canada, from India. And I strongly believe in, as David Wiley also points out, that with open educational resources, educators move from passive consumers to empowered creators of knowledge. I'm pretty sure many of you also agree with this if you're familiar with the concept of open educational resources. So I'm not just open edtech professional, but also an open education advocate. I strongly promote open educational resources, and at the moment I saw EmpowerED, I sent my proposal. Thank you, Anshul, for accepting this. Here is a small question to all, and can you just move to next slide, please, Anshul? I hope I'm not comfortable though looking at the screen. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to know if you are familiar with OER or no, or have you used earlier, or have you co-created? Yes or no? Like, you can answer in the chat maybe. If you are familiar with the concept of open educational resources. Have you used? Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, okay, most of them are veterans here. Okay, yes to everything. That's wonderful. So, familiar, okay. Okay, great, great. But still, I never used. Okay, but still, I would like to walk you through this concept of open educational resources, because from the definition onwards, okay, and reused co-creation, not yet, but soon. That's wonderful, Sandra. Can I share my screen, Anshul, if you don't mind?
Oh,
I
yes,
think.
if you can.
Yes. So yeah, I'm talking about this open educational resources and the definition of it. And I asked you all about whether you used, and that's wonderful. I talked about the definition. There are any resources that are available in public domain, and which are under copyright, because the OER works along with copyright, but there is a word that is highlighted over there with an open license, right? What does this word open means here? We have to concentrate on this first. They are available online, that's for sure, and they are free, and with some certain permissions, involving certain permissions. What are those permissions? That's what these open license really explains us. What are these exact permissions that they give us? What to do and what not to do? What we can do, what we cannot do. That's what explains. So copyright, we all know that it's like all rights reserved, right? And the moment we say open license, I just told you about some restrictions are still there, but some rights are reserved, but they are openly available across. And public domain, there are all the no strings attached and all the rights are waived. There are no rights at all reserved over there. So what are these some rights? So to know about exactly what are these some rights, first we should understand David Wiley's proposed 5 R's of OER, because on this only the entire open licenses essence is really built upon. These 5 R's are revise, remix, reuse, retain, and redistribute. As the words clearly explains about, we will be able to revise them, adapt them, adjust and modify the way we want, and then we can mash it up and create a remix, and then we can repurpose it, reuse it, or you can just make a copy and retain it, or you can make revisions and redistribute to them, right? On this framework, all these open licenses are built and commonly used. There are many, like various organizations have their own open licenses too, but commonly used open educational resources, open licenses, Creative Commons open license, where we can see especially these four, definitely I will answer the question in the chat. That these four elements that we come across along all these 6 open licenses are that we must attribute the permissions that they talk about it, whatever the content is with the Creative Commons open license, that whenever we reuse it, we must attribute. And sometimes there might be one condition that you have to share that under the same terms, that is share alike, we call it. And then there is another permission called only non-commercial purposes. For that purpose, you can utilize, that is NC non-commercial, and then comes no derivatives at all. You cannot really adapt it. You cannot create anything out of that particular material if it contains that ND on that particular material. So you can see there's all 6 of them licenses down there, and I highlighted 2 of them is where no derivatives at all possible, right? But the moment we say there are open licenses, there are wonderful material available over there, but then there might be some challenges also, right? Like the moment you find, like I just saw something in the chat about a question, I think I will definitely answer at the end. The source files are not available or the OER is locked. That's exactly right. You know, when we try to find a OER, it's also on us as users, as consumers of that particular OER, that we must report to them if possible. So that's why when we advocate about open educational resources, we clearly say that it should be accessible, it should be open. Like for example, I mean, right now we all, most of us can edit PDFs because their kind of softwares are really available now to most of the people. Majority of the people can utilize. If there is a PDF, they can download and they can edit. Because a few years back, I'm talking about maybe more than a decade back, like of course, like when just this open licensing concept was introduced, when they upload these kind of flash files or some PDFs, that they're not really accessible. As you said, they're locked. You can't really utilize them the way you want it. Then as a OER advocate, I don't really consider it as completely open, right? Absolutely right. So when we create, I come to that point while creating also. Whenever we create it, we should make sure that it is accessible to all. It is it should be in an editable format. It should be reachable to them. And also while finding OERs also, we should utilize certain criteria, certain evaluation checklists, some worksheets. I would like to share them also with my, if at all, if it allows me to create. I'm using a Teams app itself, Anshul. So I would like to, or I'll give the links here. While finding OER, while using search engines or keywords or filters, that you must try to practice doing, like recently when we are doing finding OER exercise and remixing OER exercise, we try to come up with a document where you can do in a workshop. I just shared it here. That is also with an open license, where you can evaluate it in various ways. There are various OER evaluation checklists available already there. But then while finding itself, what kind of idea you have to remix it. How do you want to remix it? What are the ways, and is it really permitting you or not? Then you can categorize it in a way that this is, yes, this way it is usable, this way it is not really usable, right? So while finding itself, you have to make sure that you follow certain guidelines or checklists, because these checklists are also again made open with the help of other checklists. right? Because that is the beauty of open educational resource. I mean, that is the beauty of a resource with an open license. Then you can adapt it, you can modify it, and you can create a tailor-make things the way you want it for your teaching learning environment. Next slide, please, Anshul. Yeah, I always suggest to follow 3 steps. Is first, you have to identify a keyword. In this document itself, you have that keyword section. First, we have to identify a keyword or a phrase. Also, we have to utilize a certain tactics like search tactics. Also, when you use a phrase in Chrome, I'm taking an example of Google Chrome there, you better keep it in quotes while searching for that, right? And then if it is a repository, then if you don't find it in a directly in a search engine, you better go to a repository, OER repository, and try to figure out there. Or then you compile and you evaluate it, what exactly, how you can utilize this particular resource and what are your strategies to use it. If you follow this guideline, these kind of a framework, then I'm sure definitely there is abundance of information already available with an open license out there in various formats. Open educational resources are not just about a document or a resource. Like it could be an assessment, it could be entire textbook, open textbook, or it could be interactive activity, or it could be entire course too. Sometimes we could see these open educational resources. Moving on to the next slide is about how to search using Google Chrome. And you can directly go to advanced search in google.com and /advanced underscore search, and there you can filter it out under usage rights. You can select the desired license possible. That is the way to find if you are using Google Chrome. And then it's always a good practice. The moment you find your results, it's always go there to the page and then select, check what is the license deed exactly is talking about, right? And then sometimes they might also mention special instructions, how to cite that particular material. Can you move on to the next slide, please? Yes, definitely I will answer that. How can we create an attribute or your image or presentation, etc.? Definitely I will answer that. I'm coming to that slide. And these are all the various repositories that, like for example, if you are looking for science simulations, and PhET is a beautiful repository. And then if you are looking for any lesson plans or assessment strategies or activities, you can see OER Commons, or you can see eCampus H5P Studio or eCampus Ontario Open Library, and open textbooks in BC Open Ed, or entire courseware is available in MIT, and open textbooks are Rice University's OpenStax. And then you can see OER Africa or from India, NPTEL, and then you have entire open textbooks with open license. If you can filter it out in Pressbooks directory also. And these are the examples of various OER repositories. Or if you are especially looking for a French OER, then you can see Fabric-RL, or you can see York's Canada, York's Camrys. I will try. I gave all these links in my presentation, or if needed, I can always give these URLs also. And coming to how we can you move on to the next slide, please? I'm sorry for this. So while searching for videos, if a common site that we look at is YouTube. And remember, in YouTube, when you upload any video, if at all for yourself, if you're uploading any video to YouTube and you want to provide with an open license, a good practice is always an embed that open license on the video itself and write about it in the about video section. Along with in edit video section, you will find usage rights, whether it is a YouTube standard license or you can choose Creative Commons license. But the drawback here is YouTube allows, I think as of now, it is only showing CC BY 3.0 porting license only. It is not allowing us to choose all other open licenses over there. Whereas in Vimeo, you can when you upload, you can give that particular license to it. Or if you're searching for various images or any other media files, more than, as the site itself says, 800 million creative works, you can find with open license in Openverse. That's a wonderful site, actually. And imagine that you found OER. These are the various search techniques. And you found an image, and then you found some text resource that fits exactly your course. But it needs some modifications maybe. But what would be, I would like to ask here before I move to the next slide, what would be your approach? You found two things, like an image and a text resource, and you think they are with openly licensed ones. And then what would be your approach? Because here I see many of them already used OER. That's why I'm asking what exactly the steps that you follow. What would be the first one that comes to your mind the moment you find? Yeah, that's sure. Yes, we will check. And then I'm talking about here two resources, right? The remixing part I'm talking about here, the mashing up. So thank you so much for that reply, though. What we do is first we will check the compatibility, right? First, we will check the compatibility of it, whether it is, if an image is with one license and the text resource is with another license. The first and foremost thing is check your license deed, Creative Commons license deed, what it is exactly allowing us to do. And then if there are two resources, you go to your compatibility chat and then check whether this is allowing me or not. For the beginners, it's always good idea to keep the chat. You can move on to the next slide, please. I think the chat is in the next slide. I always prefer that in my workshops also. I'll tell them until you really be well versed with all these open licenses, try to keep this chat. It is available in wiki, that CC license compatibility chat, and where you can see the compatible licenses. Okay, I found an image with this license, CC BY license, and I found something with CC BY SA, that is share alike text and then CC BY image. Can I combine? Can I create something new? Yes, but what would be the license deed is talking about CC BY. You can utilize for commercial purposes. You can use it the way you want it, right? It's a least restrictive one. But what SA is saying here is share again if you are reusing it with a similar license, similar conditions. So the mashup you can create with a similar condition. Or if you are sharing it as a collection of things, then you must attribute each and every piece in a collection differently, and then for the entire resource you provide one open license, and then you must say that it is, unless otherwise specified, this particular resource is licensed with so and so license. You can move on to the next, please. Somebody asked about creative. Yes, this question I asked, but I don't think we have some time. Quickly, if you can give me, one resource is with SA and one resource is with NC-SA. That is non-commercial share alike, and this is share alike. So will we be able to? We cannot, because one license is talking about share alike and the other one is talking about non-commercial share alike. You can see the difference between the two license terms, right? Share alike license allows commercial purposes, but here clearly it says, for example, I found one curriculum matrix where I want to use this picture over there. It is not possible. If you want to mash up and create something new, it is not compatible. You can move on to the next slide, please. I'm coming to the creating part. I think you all agree that when such kind of openly licensed resources are available, we can localize it, we can collaborate. I'll show you some examples also. You can move on to the next slide, please, and then create something definitely new one. So you can adapt and remix. I just explained about it. We can move on to skip this slide because there are people who already used. So how to attribute? This is the question. We always follow a guideline called TASL format, TASL. I still think I have 4 more minutes. That is title of the work, author of the work, source of the work, and license, TASL. So we have to provide this, we have to generate this statement and then provide it using Creative Commons license chooser, or if you are remixing, use open attribution builder, open attribution builder. But then make sure that you have a clear cut mention about Creative Commons license over there. If there is any doubt, you must write to the author to clarify, and usually it is not required if there are any doubts. And also some sites says that you need a specific instructions on how the CC license information to be attributed. Sometimes they do mention on the site, we have to follow those guidelines. So how to get this tassel format? You can move on to the next slide, please. You can utilize, you can move on. These are the examples. Yeah, yes, previous one. We can use a Creative Commons license chooser, where there is a clear information about different licenses and their implications with guided questions, whether you want to share with publicly, and with even you want to allow them for a commercial purposes, you want to allow them to attribute, you don't want to create any derivatives out of it. So it will ask you a guided questions, and then you keep on tick marking, and on the right hand side you will have an output with three things, that is about a license name and machine readable code and a clickable license badge with appropriate attribution and metadata. Please use Creative Commons license chooser, or if possible, until you can click on that link, and then you can give them the URL here, copy and URL here. Thank you. And then there is one more thing called Open Attribution Builder. This tool help you to easily cite open material you find. As you fill out the form here, again, the application will automatically generate the attribution for you. And this is very useful when you are remixing from some other works. Like here, you can see on the right-hand side, this work is a derivative, right? So it's a derivative work. So if you want to do that, then you can use Attribution Builder. Or if you want to create from scratch for your material, then please utilize Creative Commons license chooser. You can go to the next slide, please. Next, yes. So creating and sharing OER. First, if you are creating something new, confirm that you are the owner, you have full authority on that particular material, and then choose a publishing platform. If it is a just simple document or Google Doc or a Word doc, make it public while sharing it publicly, and have an open license on that. Remember that you should allow them to download also, right? And then if it is an open textbook, use a platform like Pressbooks or a Wikimedia for images or a Flickr for images. OER Commons, there are some platforms where it will allow you to author your OERs. Example is OER Commons. And then appropriate metadata and licensing information, which is very, very important to utilize. And then you promote collaboration by sharing the OER with the community. It is very important. The moment you share, you better come forward and share that. See how many ever the benefits are. I always concentrate on these challenges, you know, because most of this material are online. I will conclude it very fast, Anshul. And yes, that is sometimes in some areas there is a drawback, but there are workarounds that we can utilize, that because some materials are downloadable and then you can place it in a local server, and then many require specific skills and time for searching, or you can say for finding or attributing. Of course, you have to learn that. You need some set of skills. And then whenever you create any OER, it needs a constant update. Sometimes if you leave it like that, once you create a OER and the subject needs an update, and then that will be outdated. It is unnecessary a digital dump over there. Last but not least, you have to address accessibility complaints. For example, if you create any document in your Word document or a PPT, you make sure that there is a alt text are given. If it is a video, make sure that these are the basic accessibility needs, that subtitles or captions are given to your videos, or transcripts are provided for the audio and video. These are the simple things that you have to follow to make it more accessible. Yes. I really rushed and hurried as I lost 4 minutes in my presentation. But thank you, Anshul.